welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out, www.spreaker.com/user/Best Damn Podcast. Also, check out the bestdamnpodcast.tv. Tonight, I'm joined by none other, the man, the myth, the legend, Derek Rose, the Global Witness. What's up, bro?
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm good, man. John, it's always good to be with you.
Yeah, man.
I was just saying, before we jumped on the show, that we always have great conversations, even when it's not recorded.
Yeah, no doubt.
Happy to be here, brother, and hello to all of the folks there in Best Damn Podcast land.
Yeah,
and appreciate you guys supporting John. I love him and I support him as much as I possibly can, and when I can, and how I can, and I always will, and I hope you guys do as well.
Yeah, Derek's an awesome dude, good friend of mine. I love having these conversations. We was already getting into some stuff. Let's just go ahead and start here. What do you think is kind of up for humanity right now? What moment do you feel, if any, we're coming into?
Well, we're coming into a reconciliation, right? Everything is being reconciled. Mm-hmm. In order for it to be reconciled, it has to be dumped out of the bag. All of it. Every single piece of it. In your spiritual world, in your governmental world, in your educational world, in your monetary world. I don't care what world it is. Mm-hmm. This is the whole point. And this is where the Great Reset and those types of things are self-fulfilling prophecies. They're doing what they see in prophecy, but at the same time, what it brings upon us is that the absolutely unavoidable state of spiritual reconciliation. So in doing so, when they cause humanity to go in certain ways, well, humanity begins to react. And what happens is, thankfully, is that we react by going inside, even though we don't always recognize that we're going inside. Mm-hmm. But we react and we will respond. And you'll see people respond in bad ways. Yeah. You'll see people respond in great ways. You've seen people respond in wonderful ways, finding their peace. You find, people respond in bad ways, but also good ways. The truckers, you get this massive convoy going through Canada protesting their junk, and the media treating it like, oh, they're just these fringe truckers. It's 100-mile long, 100 miles.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know whether you know how long that is. 100 miles of trucks. That's a big convoy. That's the largest convoy in history. So people will react in different ways. And so what we have to come to terms with is what we're going through in any given moment, right? Is that a physical thing that I'm dealing with? Is that a spiritual nature that I'm dealing with? All of these things, people going through everything that they're going through, because like I said, what in our lives is not being touched right now? Nothing. There isn't anything.
Nothing.
Everything is intentionally being overturned. That's why Christ could say, you see all of these things? Not one stone will be unturned. Not one. It will all be turned over. The soil will be turned over, including you.
Absolutely. I agree with that statement. So do you think that as things are changing, as we're seeing things alter and shift in another direction, for some, you say that the outside influence forces us to go within. What is it that we find when we get there?
Well, it depends on what you want to find. So this is where those people that are seeking deep hatred will ultimately find true love. And those that are seeking true love will never find true hatred, so they will never know true love. There is, you can know true love superficially on the front face of it. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know true hatred, if you don't experience the darkest of who you are, you can never understand and examine the greatest of who you are. And this is where, the truth hides in dark places, which is why you have to shed the light on the truth, right? Because it's in a dark spot. And that truth is always deep inside of us, because the only truth that really matters, John, in this world, to you and I or anybody else individually, this is why you can know the government's a full of crap when they say that they care about you so much, right? Because you don't care about people that much. Right. So this is where, and so you go, oh, here's my human side. I don't care about people that much. And I know for fact that I care about people more than my government does. Right. They care about their stocks. They care about other things. They don't care about you. They care about their power positions. So when you get into that place where you begin to recognize that you don't even have that capacity, then you begin to seek and you want to find it. And when you do, when you find the absolute worst of yourself, you can then begin to imagine. So when somebody says, oh, I've never imagined myself murdering somebody. Really? Either number one, you're completely full of it. Or number two, you have neglected to go to the places that you need to go.
Absolutely.
You need to understand what you're capable of. The person that has the greatest propensity to be great also has the absolute inverse of that. Yeah. So when you go, wow, they're so amazing. Oh boy. What you're not understanding is that person that has that ability to be that amazing has that ability to be that destructive too.
Yeah.
So it is an absolute management of spirit. And that's where stay in the spirit, stay in your spirit. You're always trying to stay there because it would be very easy for me. And, I've seen myself kind of the beast of who I was spiritually.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, it is the nastiest, biggest bull that can cause such massive destruction that I am terrified of that creature.
Yeah.
That's who I saw myself as. I am terrified of that creature. And I'm terrified of anybody ever having to meet him. Absolutely mortified. So I try to keep that creature a long, long way hell away from me.
Yeah.
Because that guy is hell.
Yeah,
he will bring you hell.
You are the beast. Your physical manifestation.
Absolutely that one.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, this is a fire-breathing son of a bitch that you can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
Bigger than you can comprehend.
Yeah.
Big. That thing scares me. And that is what keeps him at bay and allows me to talk about what is good. Because if I don't know that beast, I can't know what's really good.
Absolutely.
I have to know the gravity of that before I can know the profound impact of the opposing aspect of it.
Now, do you believe that that's why the earth has kind of descended into such a negative state, was to kind of slingshot us?
Yeah, no, you are being forced into who you're going to be.
Yeah.
Who are you is the question.
God.
Yeah, who are you? Which one?
The only
one of good and evil?
No.
Or the one of life, right?
Yeah.
Because the one of good and evil, I can tell you right now, are the truckers in Canada doing good? Yeah, you could say they're fighting for their rights. They're doing good. But are they doing bad? Oh, there's a whole ton of people that are like, you're stopping all of our food from coming. You're awful. You're horrible. And both of you can argue your points poignantly, passionately. Does it solve the equation? Does it move these people from the good to the bad and the bad to the good? No. Do they merge and somehow just become okay? No, they don't. They fight.
Yeah.
They collide. This is the whole point of this. They are basically doing what they're trying to discover in CERN with us, because we are CERN.
Yeah.
We are the particle collider.
Yes, we are.
You want to know what a particle collider is? You are one.
Yeah. It's a process that creates a star.
They're trying to replicate you. It takes them 27 miles of track and all that technology and trillions of dollars to try to replicate what's inside of you.
Yeah.
I mean, the terrifying part of that, I'm like, I am a collider. Trust me. Don't let me direct this in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Don't let me direct it in the wrong way. Listen to me, hear me. So it's like, that's why you plead for people to hear your voice. You're like, hear me. You need to be good, but you need to understand the propensity for evil that you have.
What happens if most people on the planet can come into alignment with the positive polarity? Does that change prophecies of old?
Yes and no, right? Because it's only going to change it. Here's the problem. Just like everything else in this world, We are changed superficially at first. We need to make that indelible. So we're just like, going up before a church and, they say, oh, say this magic incantation and Jesus will be in your heart. And you feel amazing that day. Mm-hmm. That's all you're doing psychological doing. There is nothing that actually took place except a superficial level. It never became indelible. That's why most Christians go, well, I got saved about 19 times since the time I was 19 years old. Mm-hmm. How many times they go up on the altar and say that thing, oh, Jesus, I give you all my sins again. And then at the same time, listen to scripture that says once saved, always saved. Mm-hmm. Well, why'd you have to do it 19 times? You clearly didn't believe it the first time. So it's a remarkable thing what people don't understand what that means. And so when we go through these things in this world, John, they are superficially satisfied at first. And you're going to say, oh, I'm the evil guy or I'm the good guy. Mm-hmm. So you see these people go, love and light, love and light. I TikToked a video. All I did was duet somebody else because they said it great. And I was like, I don't need to re-say it. That guy said it perfect. So I'm just going to duet it and point at him. And he said great things. He's like, these people that are wielding this around, it's love and light and all this positive energy, but they haven't actually explored the deeper, darker aspects of themselves. They haven't done the real shadow work and killed the shadows of themselves. Mm-hmm. You're not helping the equation because it's all false. All of your identity, because they will, once that military boot hits your throat, your heart's going to go instantly to hatred. You don't have true love and light yet because you don't understand.
You never found yourself.
So you never found the enemy to kill him. Christ descended into hell to do what? To kill the enemy.
The keys of death and Hades.
Period.
Yeah.
He descended to hell. You got to go there and kill that son of a bitch in your life.
Which is the equivalent of you, your name, your vibration.
All of it. And so you just go, wow, I'm just... it's a remarkable thing. And I understand why people always don't get it right and they don't want to be defeated. They hear things like this and they're like, oh, I thought I was loving light. I'm not trying to discourage you.
No.
What I'm trying to say is, oh boy, the thing is, go visit those demons now. If you can't cast out your own demons, and you can just lock them in a closet while you pretend to cast out other people's demons. No, you need to go and you need to get those demons out. You need to open that door. You need to find that. And then you can truly stand and go, yeah, somebody tries to stir that thing in you, John, slap you in the face. And you're just like,
yeah,
I killed that guy a long time ago because I'm not going to waste my energy that I have, what little bit of food that I have and energy that I have on responding to that and validating it.
Absolutely.
Like it was something that was important.
Creating that, solidifying that.
Validating what they say. Somebody comes to you like we were talking about earlier. Somebody says something to you nasty. You don't know them. They don't know you. If you respond to it, you validate what they said. You made it a real argument against you. And that's what they want from you. They feel like such nothing in their world. Mm-hmm. That if they can get you, who they see as something more than they, well, then they can get a response from you. Now they're that much more powerful.
They feel empowered by it.
They're totally empowered by it.
I got you to react.
Just go ahead and have a troll comment on your thing. Ignore it. Ignore like 10 of them. And then respond to one of the trolls one time. And then you'll see he'll be a troll and he'll show up on every single show.
Yeah. They do.
Because he got to respond. You're his hero now. It's just a different kind of worship. You supply him what he needs, like a prison guard that has to badmouth prisoners on a daily basis to make himself feel more special.
Sure.
When he retires, he kills himself because he no longer has that bank account. There's no one there for him to diminish anymore.
Wow. Do you think that this could be, and I've been seeing this in the news, I don't know if you've seen it in the news or not, but there's been a lot of recent suicides and stuff like that happening lately. Do you think we could see more of those type of physical manifestations as a result of the energy shifting?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. You're going to see already, you've seen, I mean, suicides are up exponentially, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. What hope do they have? I mean, what does a teenager, 16, 17 years old, even if they have had, straight A's in school before all of this crap went down, when they look at the world around them, do they want to be a part of anything that they thought that they wanted to be a part of before? No, they're going to start either creating new, and if they can't create a new surrounding, then they're going to end it. So they've lost all their identity. And this is why Christ could say, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. Because everybody right now is seeking something to save their life. Just the difference is that they think they're going to find it in a Republican Party or a Democratic Party or a Trump or a Biden or even a Jimmy Dore or even a John Keane or a Derek Bros or any of that. Yeah. No, man, all of that is worthless. In these times, you need to find something much, much greater, and that exists only exclusively for you within you. However, that exclusivity isn't relegated to just me because, see, Christ lives in me, exclusively in me, as Christ is in me, which is different than Christ in you. However, they have the same kind of attributes. They feel the same, do the same. That don't mean that they have the same hair. Doesn't mean that they wear the same clothing. Doesn't mean that they say namaste. It doesn't mean any of that. You know them by what? Their fruit. Mm-hmm. What do they accomplish? What is their goal on a daily basis? What is it that they're doing? They're doing what? Feeding somebody. What do they need fed? Whatever they need to survive and live. That's what they feed. John, that's what you do. That's fruit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it, man. You do it too, though. So, and I feel like I am you and you are me. So,
well, this is the whole point, right? It's like I'm your fruit, you're my fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how I see this. That's why I'm like, why would I ever say anything bad about John? I know John has hard times. I know. I hope John doesn't say bad things about me when I got hard times. But you've seen how I react to everybody and everything. So this is how Christ functions.
Absolutely.
I know somebody walking in Christ, even if it doesn't mean, oh, John's only walking in Christ 12% of the time. Like, really? So I'm going to treat, if John can walk in Christ 0.000000001% of the time, I'm going to see that Christ in John. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to treat John any different than somebody that has 2% of Christ.
Absolutely.
Or 5. Because I promise you, not any of us, not right now, have more than that.
No.
None of us.
No.
But there will be that day where you will know 100%, and the delineation will be far more clear. Isaiah, right? It says, there will be that time where you will know the differentiation between those who know me and those who do not. Because those people that are in 0.0000001% probably stop believing in that tiny percentage because they've spent so much time standing on the other. So when the line gets drawn in the sand, you're going to see them on the other side and you're going to go, Father, forgive them. They have no idea what they're doing.
No.
And they're going to kill you and think they're doing the work of God.
And it's just going to be for their own evidence that we don't die. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's how it functions.
Crazy, ain't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing how more crystal clear this becomes to myself and Malia on a daily basis. As every single morning we wake up, we don't read. We'll glance at the mainstream media news cycle just so we understand what's going on. We look at the higher degree of depth of news of people that we know that really are actually tracking some things. And then we just look at it socially, look at how people are reacting to it and how it's changing. And then that allows us to go and look at it spiritually and say, whoo, boy, here's where we're at.
It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time.
Oh, we're all blessed to be a part of this time. I mean, seriously, it's like Christ said, all of the prophets before you, do you know how many people before you prayed that they would see this day?
You mean your different incarnations?
Yeah, he thought it was, people thought it was that you would see the Son of Man. Well, yeah, the Son of Man is you. Do you know how many people in the past prayed and preached about this day that never got to see it?
Yeah.
You get to see it. You get to be here. And for that reason alone, regardless of 7.7 billion, 7.8 billion people, who cares?
Yeah.
That's irrelevant in the scheme of what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Right? You got 15 times the amount of cells of that in your body, and each one of those cells are you too. So I don't look at the number of people as being significant. I look at the fact that we're witnessing it, which is why I'm called Global Witness. I'm witnessing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm witnessing this, and hopefully I can tell you and show you, and you can witness this too. Hopefully your eyes can see. If they can't, I can't. I don't know what. Maybe you'll find, maybe John will open your eyes. Or maybe somebody else will open your eyes. My sheep hear my voice. John's sheep hears his voice, right?
And you know what? In the early days of doing this, I used to have a problem with the way other people did things because I didn't understand that that's how it worked.
Yeah. Hopefully I can. Sorry.
No, you're all good.
That was my fault.
You're all good.
I just opened up a window and it was us because it was a notification and I accidentally clicked on it just out of and it was us. So there you go.
Yeah, but in the early days of doing this, I used to find myself judging others that were teaching, and you know what I mean. I found myself, my ego, I jealous, envy, all these different things, not understanding that for each person they needed a different voice to bring them all to the same place.
And you know what that has to do with, John? That has to do with your testimony, right? So my testimony appeals to certain people. Mm-hmm. And so when I speak my testimony, they're like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel, right? Then some people are like, no, that ain't how it feels at all. He's full of shit. Mm-hmm. You get that right away. Yeah. So that judgment, that's where you have to realize it's like, it's different for everybody. It's the same journey. It just looks different to everybody. Number one, because everybody perceives it differently. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They perceive you differently. Mm-hmm. You know how many times we've been, come on the show and you on mine or mine on yours or whatever, and somebody comments, you think you're so great. And it's like, you don't even know me. How could you possibly know that?
Have Global Witness write another script for you, John. That's what they say.
Have to have Global Witness write another script for you?
Yeah, that's what they say. Like you're the script writer.
Like somehow that I call John, hey, John, always talk about this and say that. It's like, no, that's how oblivious. See, that's what they don't want to come to terms with. Mm-hmm. They can't come to terms with that a guy like me and a guy like you could both somehow be connected. Because they hear us totally differently. They see us totally differently. They judge you where they believe you are and who you are. They've judged me as to where I am and who I am. And then they try to put themselves in that equation. This is where we have amazing psychological issues in people, right? That's why, Dr. Malone bringing up mass formation psychosis was so, the pushback that he got from everybody from all over the place was insane because it's true. Mm-hmm. They're in the business of mass psychosis. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's their business.
They're the linear reality.
They're in the media. Holy crap. Mm-hmm. That's what they do. And they know they do it. They know they start trends. They know. So yeah, they don't like the fact that there is another mass psychosis, but you have to understand, John, to those people that have that mass psychosis, look at us without the ability to hear what we say at all, because they're never going to these places. Okay. They're never going to them psychologically, sociologically, spiritually. They're not going there. You sound like this. Oh, rah, rah, rah. You literally sound like the Peanuts teacher. Wah, 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 right? They can't hear a word you say I've had conversations with them face to face. And literally, I can say, who is it that you think you are? And they'll go, what did you say? They can't even hear that. They can't even hear that question.
Yeah.
Because that's the last question they're willing to ask themselves.
Because they may get an answer.
Because they will never. It's the last thing they're going to do. What do you mean, who do I think that I am? They don't even want to have that conversation because they know that you know how superficial they are on the front end of it. And they know that that's a response that if they gave one, that you're just going to now kind of have an insight to their soul. And it's vulnerable. It makes them feel vulnerable. People always accuse me of, why are you attacking me? Why are you judging me? I said, I haven't judged you one time. I just asked you about 19 different questions. But you're interpreting a question that I have as a judgment, pretending like you somehow know what I think, but yet can't understand a word that I say. So isn't that interesting?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, right now I think, what would you tell people, any good practices that are experiencing this to help get their vibration up, to help to be able to, with the transmutation process and kind of pushing things to that side?
It depends on where they're at. And, I can't say that there's a general thing for any one individual because it depends on where they're at, what they need to see, what they need to hear, and what they need to go through, depending on what it is that their intention is. Let me give you an example. If there's somebody that's living in a tent and they're completely content out in the middle of, the woods or the desert somewhere, and they're by a river and they're like, this is where I'm going to live out the rest of my days. There is zero, and they're not planning on leaving that tent or that area. The last thing that person should be doing is consuming negative stuff going on in the world.
Yeah.
Why? You've created your own. You have no intention of doing war for anybody else. You're going to serve yourself because that's the best you can do. And that's totally fine. If that's all you can do.
Serve yourself, Derek. What are you talking about? That's selfish.
Yeah. Oh, but just serve yourself. Just make sure that you keep your crown. Just you. Because if you can't help somebody else keep their crown and you don't have that capability, the last thing you want to do is try to.
Absolutely. So,
right. So don't try. Go stay alone. Ignore this stuff. Stop watching you and I. Stop watching me. Yes. I don't want you watching me if that's you. I don't, unless you're watching specific spiritual videos talking about Christ and you, and it has nothing to do with these daily updates that we do or something on what's happening in the world. Don't pay attention to that. Stay where you're at. You got your crown. You don't plan on going out. Stay right there. However,
don't watch me to watch me. Watch me to watch you.
Every time that John is just a version of you, and you have to just go, if I were John, right, and he's saying these things, and and try to understand John greater, we'll then begin to help you understand the portion of John that you didn't understand in the first place. You've never cut your hair the way John did. You don't have a tattoo on your face like John has, right? You will never relate to that kind of thing. I do, right? But I'm not the other guy.
Yeah.
So it's really a remarkable thing. So don't do that. But now if you are preparing yourself and you do feel called to be out there talking to people, then you need to it's not about mastering a craft. People master your craft of being a preacher. No. Mastering a craft that way is superficial. Master yourself.
Yes.
Master yourself. Master yourself. You're not, and that's not to say that I'm a master of myself. That means that I'm constantly seeking to be a master of myself.
Absolutely.
And guess what? The best time for me to find ways to be a better master of myself, inside of myself, is by doing it when I'm in motion of screwing up. Being able to recognize, boy, stop it. Stop my mind from going that direction. Stop what I'm doing. That's when I get to go, oh, and then I can and it's not beat up on myself. I can smack myself on the, on the side of the face, go, don't ever think about that again.
Yeah.
You saw where that began, and then go back, uncover it, dig it out, and go throw that crap away, put that in the bag, watch the trash truck drive it away, and never do it again.
So do you believe
that's what repentance is, right?
Yes.
Turning away from. You fed, you drew, you've everywhere that you shouldn't have from.
Wow. So, do you think that it would help people that are watching this right now to practice things like meditation, eating better, just little subtle things that the world, I think, takes for granted that tunes our temple and can help us to get more in alignment with Source?
Yeah, of course. I say the same thing to myself every day. I shouldn't eat, all the butter and eggs and stuff that I eat, right? I shouldn't. I shouldn't do things. And that absolutely has an impact on your spiritual aspects. However, far more than anything else is your mental habit.
Yes.
And what comes out of your mouth, what you allow to speak about, what you allow yourself to talk about, even what you allow to read when you read comments. The minute I see a comment is attack, I immediately just turn away from it. I don't even care, right? Yeah. So I won't allow those things to be absorbed. And that's the reason why it's an attack. It's not a correction. I have no problem. Somebody eloquently says to me, hey, brother, I've been where you're at and how I felt this way. I'll kind of give a description, but you may want to look at this inside of yourself because I had a dad who did, what your dad did, and that might have been coming from that spot of things. And I'll be like, wow, that was thoughtful.
Yes.
Right? There was a person trying to describe to me something, not a person trying to achieve a superficial strike for themselves and against you so they can feel better.
But isn't the strike against you truly against themselves, though?
Always is. That's why judge not lest ye be judged. That person that said, you think you're so great, only told themselves and demonstrated before everybody that they think that they would feel great if they were in your shoes.
Yes.
So they've already committed and testified against their own sin by doing so.
Which also shows that they have co-created a reality in which they're not because it's something they needed to work on.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, when you think about it. And every one of the ancient depictions, and this is a conclusion I've come to, and people are probably going to hate me after this, but the Illuminati, all of that, I believe that was different variations of our self-planting frequency for now. That way we could rise, gradually over our different lifetimes and experiences, putting the resonance or the vibration here on planet Earth for us to kind of latch onto at this point in time now.
Yeah, it's again, but you're always going to latch on to the frequencies that you feel you want. So think about it, right? So just like having, somebody's a meth addict. Mm-hmm. Oh, I want that meth.
Sure.
Well, that becomes that. So you're going to seek and then begin to justify your seeking of that. You'll design your own lie. Yeah. To yourself. Sure. We're the greatest liars to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Nobody can lie to me like I can lie to myself.
No.
Right? Nobody. So we begin crafting it so it's fully justified in our head. We've built our defense. And the mere fact that you built something and had to build a defense while you're going after something should demonstrate to you right away that if you have to build a defense before you arrive there, it probably wasn't the right place to go.
So do you think that people that we would call illuminated, like people that we see as stars, right? These people understand the power of magnetism and manifestation and attraction the same way, like somebody who
of
really...
course.
Are they...
And they're using it.
Yeah, absolutely. But are they using it for their own benefit or destruction?
Well, but you have to know who they are and where they're coming from to understand exactly that. So if you're an Illuminati person, if you're, let's look at, psychopath Bill Gates, who I used to work for directly, right? I've looked in that dude's eyes. Bill, I believe, really believes he's doing the world a favor, right? He's autistic like crazy. That's why I drove him mad. Couldn't stand me because somebody like me to an autistic person is like oil and water, bad stuff, bad things. And he would just rock back and forth. But see, I believe that Bill looks at it just kind of like the way you will hear Elon also being mentally messed up, right? Both of these guys have major Asperger's. If you knew them as kids, their parents were probably stressed out of their minds and wanted to, take them to a preacher and have them, have their demons removed. Mm-hmm. Because as kids, I've been around Asperger kids, and trust me, man, it's a real challenge.
Really?
See, it's because of the way that they see things. So Bill only sees the numbers in the way that he sees numbers. Mm-hmm. And it's like Rain Man going, "Oh my God, we've got to reduce the population of the world because we're all going to die. Humanity won't survive." He sees it as something that he needs to solve. Mm. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So in his heart and in his mind, I'm giving all this money. I'm doing all these things. How can I do so much good and be seen as evil? It really messes with that guy's mind.
I bet it does.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he 100% believes his crap. But it's like you want to knock on him and go, "Yo, dude, you out to lunch, brother." Right? You don't understand. You're writing checks that you think you can cash. But these are checks on your soul. And when you start killing these people, you can't cash those checks. You're relegated to the enemy's world forever. And if this place is relegated to fire forever, let's say it's not inhabitable, and your soul is literally relegated to just this place, and there is no remanifesting, no reanimating into a human soul so you can then dump your karma. Mm-hmm. Well, that is eternal tribulation, right?
Absolutely.
That is eternal fire.
Absolutely. That takes me to my next question. What do you think of extraterrestrials?
I'm looking at one. Right? It's like if you think we're void of extraterrestrial DNA, I can't help you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's throughout every kind of ancient scripture, including your own Bible. Yep. They did what they needed to do to tame it and make it obscure for quite some time. But now they're just preparing you for, we're going to be revealing that, and we're going to show you our God. And that's when, you're really going to see things go a little crazier.
Is this things that are going crazier? Are we going to be able to control only our own individual sphere, or can we control the entirety of creation around us as these things begin to take place?
Well, here's the whole thing. We don't know, John, like everybody, I hear these people that say, we can compete with this. We can destroy this. Christ's message was very much, don't let your heart not be troubled because let your heart not be troubled because this all has to happen. This is a part of the setup here. Mm-hmm. And in order for you to leave, you kind of want it to happen. Mm-hmm. But you keep your crown, keep yourself straight, stand here in the narrow gate. And when all of this comes crumbling down, you get to leave. The rest of them don't. But you got to stand in the narrow gate, not on the left, not on the right, not politically, just without opinion. Kind of hard.
Neutrality. And that's what the Baphomet is all about. And people with Lucifer and all that, they've demonized the hell out of that. I don't think that a true loving God could cast any angel down, that we were just trying to be shown ourselves in all the depictions of everything around us.
Well, there's so much more to that. And to get into ancient scriptures talking about who really angels are, mm-hmm. and whether they, like you said, I don't think, a true loving God would cast any angel down.
Nope.
The thing is that the temptation of something would be this, John. Let's pretend for 1 minute that I'm a really crazy good technological guy and I'm worth billions like Elon Musk. And I know kind of the world that we're in is a little screwed up, and I can create something. I can make something that will help you leave here. Mm-hmm. Right. Let me do this. Let me help these people escape because this world is just such an ugly place. So he creates a garden, essentially, right? Yeah. A technological one. And go ahead, go in there, just lay in there, and you never leave because you don't want to. It's too perfect. Right. It's just too perfect. But then later on, the hacker comes in there and hacks something and creates a good and evil perspective. And now all of a sudden, where this guy that is technologically smart, has some money, and has the wherewithal to build something, another simulation.
Yeah.
That's the fallen. That's the fallen. And the other fallen that would participate would be people that participated with that one. And now I know that sounds a little crazy and complicated for a lot of people, but what I'm saying is, if just right now, even another huge article, lots of great scientists all saying they believe that it's kind of impossible to prove that we're not in a simulation. It's easier to prove that we are in a simulation.
The chances of us being in base reality are astronomical.
Yeah. So this is the whole point. So here's the whole point. This is why I say, let's say Inky and Enlil are the manufacturers of this simulation from the Anunnaki text, right?
Yep.
Well, maybe they created a flat world, but they live on a round one.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Here's what I keep trying to say. This is where I go, there's truth and lie all at the same time, because even there's more truths than just one truth. This is why I've always tried to give these descriptions and say, see this three-dimensional object? Describe it from here. If that's the only person see, then describe it from here. 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 Then to here. Then to here. Describe it. Everybody is going to have a different opinion about what it is, and they're going to try to tell you what it is, but none of them can tell you what it is. They can't tell you the entirety of it. And that's, the old Buddhist, old Buddhist parable that said, the master had his 4 blind servants go and try to describe an elephant that he brought before them. And I'm paraphrasing here, but one felt the leg and said it's like a big barrel, and one felt the tusk and said it's like a big hose, and one felt the tail and said it's like a thick rope, and the other felt the belly and said it's like a big tank. But none of them could describe the elephant. That's what we have about the Bible. That's what we have about God. That's what we have about round earth, flat earth. That's what we have about every single subject that all of us that would call ourselves truth seekers are looking for. We're looking for the truth. Yeah. Here's the difference. When people find a truth that they can identify as true, they stop seeking a different variation of that truth.
Yes.
It's like you want to smack them and go, no, there's another version of it.
Deeper.
That's also true. And you might say that's Muslim. Well, you got to go to him. You got to see it and turn and look at it from their angle.
Yes.
Entirely. Historically, you can't even stop seeking.
Well, isn't that ascension, is having the kind of dimensional or vibrational understanding of all of the dimensional aspects of yourself?
Yeah, and that's what you want to know. I want to know the evil guy.
Yes.
I want to know the greatest guy.
Yes.
And I want to beat the living crap out of the evil guy so he doesn't ever come up again. And when he does, I'm going to smack the shit out of him.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm going to keep being the good guy. This is an ongoing process. And anybody thinks that while they're in this world, that somehow you're going to go home and you're going to be perfect. Right? And when you ask me about meditating, what is meditation? Meditation's quite different for me than it is for other people.
Sure.
I don't sit there and cross my legs and home and do that. However, they've seen that.
Yeah.
I can walk and be be completely isolated from the rest of the world.
Yep.
Walking outside, carrying the trash. I don't even remember carrying the trash.
Yeah.
I'm so outside of myself in some place. That's meditation to me.
Me too. And that's being in that constant prayer too, that it talks about, within the world's Bible. It's
be in constant prayer. I'm always praying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
that's community.
When we're talking, it's prayer.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm praying that you people hear me. I'm praying that you understand this.
Well, I think they will. I think a few will, at least. I've been seeing.
That's all I did. That's all he promised. Just a few.
That's all it takes. 1%, 1%, 1%.
And I'm constantly staggered that, and it's still in the scheme of things that, 86,000 this month, from the last video that we did, the show, amazing responses, 35,000 views, 3,500 likes, which for our channel, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, although we have, 500,000 view videos, but those have been out for years. This is literally less than a week. So for us, it's a lot to have 800 comments on a video.
Yeah.
And all of them be good. It's like, I haven't banned anybody. I'm like, wow, things are changing, but it's remarkable. That's still a very narrow gate. You can add up all of us, still incredibly small.
Yeah, it is. But
in the scheme of things.
But it's enough, though. It's enough.
Oh, it's plenty. And it's not like we're going to collectively change anybody's outcome, right? The global situation here, we're not going to collectively somehow defeat them. Like, this is where that when they say peace, there is no peace, right? So when people are, oh, look at, they're banning all the vaccinations and all the things, it's like, what? Why all of a sudden do they just switch this stuff off, folks? This is just a different form of their psychological operation. They're shutting this off because they're turning something else on. It's called, hey, we get the pandemic over with. It's World War III time. Let's go with this now. This is the next switch. You got to be prepared for all of this stuff. It's like, oh my God, it's so terrifying. It's so scared. What's the difference? Oh, the only thing I hope is it's incredibly quick. But something tells me that, folks like you and I, John, they'll hang us on something and make sure that we're displayed somewhere to make a point.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Let's rock and roll.
I am too, because whose point are they making is the question.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Hey, because Jesus is like, no, I dare you to kill me. Look, people don't understand. It's like Jesus is like, hey, it's not my time, lady, right? Talking to his mom. It's not my time yet. It's not my time. It's not my time. When it's his time, he tells his disciples, hey, yo, I'm about to be delivered up. How do you know? Because I'm going to make them do it. I'm done with it. I'm finished.
Yep.
It is finished, right? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to make them do it. And what did he do? He kept hinting at who their God was.
Yeah.
He kept hinting that in the scriptures that there was some demonic God that had crept in. And doesn't it say in your law that he mocked them? And then he finally just said, yo, your father's Satan.
Yeah.
And you're not God's chosen people. You're that God's chosen. When he said that, they killed him.
Yeah.
It was just a lead up to that. And it is no different today, John.
No.
They're preparing you for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Right now, pandemic, world wars, all that, they're still concerned about this anti-Semitism. Who is it that they're scared of being identified? Why are you expecting this massive increase in anti-Semitism?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why?
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's rampant. Oh, one church attacked in a year, or whatever, right? One thing. This is paying attention to how the propaganda works helps you understand how the enemy works in this. Right? It's not very difficult to show a bunch of things, which I constantly do. You said you followed my Twitter where I'm constantly.
I love it.
I'll show the atrocities happening in Palestine and I'll go, yet more from God's chosen.
The God of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has his chosen too.
The God of the thinking mind.
Yeah.
That's who their God is.
Yeah, and so you have different, and they're all part of the same God system, so to speak. So you got Baal and you've got Moloch, right? Both the two sides of the same coin, just the Enki, the Enlil, the good and evil. One's good to everybody, or, to half of the people, and the other's bad to half of the people, and vice versa, right? So there's always good and evil. There's always going to be that. And how do you get past that tree that has swords of fire spinning in both directions? How do you get past that?
How do you get past that?
Well, see, there's the difference. That's the good and evil, right? Swords spinning in both directions, left and right, forward and back. That means all around you. Where's the narrow gate in that equation? How do you avoid being cut up by those swords?
By staying in your center.
Think right through the center of that thing.
Yeah.
That's us.
Is everyone going to grasp these concepts or no?
Everybody will. Just what time will it be? What will the circumstances of the world be when they do? So this is when everything is revealed, when people realize, let me just put it this, all of these people that are very patriotic about the United States, right? Very nationalist.
Yeah.
Hitler was nationalist, right?
Sure was.
Loved his country. That was all about Germany.
Yep.
So nationalism is a graven image, right? Well, guess what? When you find out everything, and forget about other countries, when you find out what this country, our country, which we were patriotic about,
Yes, we were.
which we slaved for,
Yes, we did.
when you find out the gravity of the evil that we have conducted in our lifetimes and our father's lifetimes and our grandfather's lifetimes and our great-great-grandfather's lifetimes, when you find out, you're going to be quite angry.
Yeah.
And so will the rest of the world at us because of what we've done to the rest of the world. Now, we're just one portion of it, but we will have worked for some other folks, right? Imagine we're the whore of Babylon. She gets thrown out
Yes.
on the street. That's us.
Like a large millstone thrown into the sea.
Yeah. So imagine then when everything is revealed and they now know inside personally what they did support, right? It's like growing up loving your pastor father. Let's just say that, let me try to, the worst possible scenario that you think you're born into a perfect Christian family and your daddy is perfect pastor and everything is wonderful. You've never seen mom and dad fight. The whole world is gleeful and it's all filled with joy and it's all perfect. And now you're 35 years old and you have the perfect husband and the perfect children of your own and you have your own perfect church. And then all of a sudden you realize that your dad that was so badass is a pedophile and has raped every single kid in that church.
Damn.
And that the God that you guys were selling everybody is the devil. I mean, imagine that child's mind being completely shattered. Think about when scripture says their hearts will fail them for fear. So when all of these things this is where tribulation comes from. When we're revealed who we are, we're being judged. This judgment's happening.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. We're being judged. You're going to judge yourself because you're going to now be revealed who you are and what you've supported. And you're going to have to contend with that. Here's the good news. The good news that Christ could say is it's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's my entire message. It's not your fault. So you have to accept that forgiveness first. Now you have another side of it where you're going to have a whole different understanding of who God actually is of this world. And you're going to realize that the whole world does worship and go after that God. But that's actually the devil. And those people are going to snap and die from fear because they've badmouthed the devil their whole lives as far as they're concerned. But yet so they don't even know where they stand. They don't know whether they're good in his eyes or bad in his eyes.
They can never be good enough in his eyes.
Because he's this, whatever he is, this 45-foot alien, if that's what it is.
Outside of themselves.
Yeah. So hard to say how people are going to contend with that spiritually, emotionally, physically amongst their families. Their family says, no, I don't see a giant alien or I don't see alien spaceships. That's stupid. You're a psychopath. And then they're going to kill each other. So we don't have anything good to look forward to in all of this, with the exception of being inside of ourselves and going, I'm so thankful I get to take place in this, watch this, and stand outside of it and be on my own 100% outside of it. Because, John, the people of the world will look at people like you and me as complete anomalies. They will see you as a Christ figure because you're the only one that has your head. Ichabod, right?
Yep.
Chabad?
Yep.
Chabad is the head.
Ooh.
Ichabod is one without the head.
Wow.
You'll be with the head, with Christ. You'll have your head. They'll be without one.
That's why you have this Christian thing where they're all glorifying being decapitated.
Precisely.
Cutting the head off the serpent.
Done.
Wow. Wow. Damn, that just hit me right there. Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? It's a long road to get there, but you eventually get there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and that's the lower vibration. That's the beast, which is you. That's your thinking mind imposing those beliefs of a linear system onto yourself.
Yeah.
Man, bro, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, and that's where you just have to, you kind of smile through it and laugh. Right? You just smile through it and laugh and go, oh, if they could only see. That's where the Father forgive them, they know not what they do.
So
because you've done deep examination, right? No matter what, you've probably done a lot deeper than most people.
yes,
Now, there will be people that have done deeper examinations than you have.
sure.
That won't put them at a better place, because it might put them at a different place, which isn't a healthy place at the time that we're in. And you'll be more helpful to him than he is to you. Everybody has to understand that their role is going to be unique, and they're not going to understand their true function within it. People go, oh, this is your function. This is what you're supposed to do. No, it isn't.
Yeah, I was talking to my beautiful girlfriend earlier about the same thing. Like, we can't judge ourselves off what another person is experiencing, because it's so individual for each one of us, and it's about each one of us coming into alignment with that source power right now. So.
Yeah, and you need to, but the difference is you just make sure that those people that are wound up in fear and fight and flight. Right? Those types of things, because trust me, I know, I feel it, right? You see some stupid crap yet again, day after day, and you get angry. You got to pull yourself back from that again, because that's the intent of it. And you got to go, whew, I got to I just have to pull myself out of that. I can't stay in that anger. And then I can be assistant to somebody else and go, don't be angry about that. That's why Christ could say, let your hearts not be troubled. Just stop worrying.
Let it all go.
Let it all go. Yeah, just live. Like, let go, live. Like when people go, let go, let God. Yeah, kind of the same thing. But this is where, these Christianese things that none of them actually do.
Yeah.
Not of this world. It's like, I'm not of this world. It's like, really? Boy, you sure really make that Mercedes-Benz and those clothes. You got a $19,000 Dolce dress on that you got directly from the designer. Yeah, totally not of this world. None at all. People are dying of starvation. You spent $18,000 on a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not of this world.
Stood in line for a Starbucks for 3 hours.
I got it. Jeez.
Oh, shit.
It's hysterical. And when people think that Jesus didn't say shit or something like that, I'm just going to say, I'll say this on my show, and I'll tell you right now, people will probably be angry. If there was a word that had the equivalent to fuck at the time, I'm sure he used it.
I agree.
I guarantee you he used it. And the mere fact, see, this is the biggest problem. This is what Malia and I always discuss. The biggest problems with Christians is they cannot comprehend Jesus as a man.
No.
And Jews can't comprehend Jesus as God.
Absolutely.
So here you have the conundrum. Christians don't actually find Christ in general, truly find Christ, because they can't imagine him actually being John King.
Yeah.
They can't imagine. Oh, no, he would never have a tattoo on his face. Jesus never had sex. He knew all of your issues. He had experienced everything that man experienced. Everything. He experienced wealth, notoriety, all of it. They all knew who he was. They all did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Called him a Pharisee, or not a Pharisee, but a rabbi, right? So he was a rabbi. He could clean people and tell them, sorry, this guy had experienced a real world. That's why you didn't hear any of that, because the worldly life that he lived, the reason why it's not written in here is because it's not important.
It doesn't matter.
It's in the same way that if I tell you, John, you can accept Jesus Christ and be forgiven of your sins forever, the same thing. Now you become Christ, John. The past life doesn't matter. Scratch it out of the book.
Yes.
It doesn't matter anymore. That's why it doesn't matter. They can't imagine that. That's the whole point of it not being there, folks.
You mean God forgives me for everything, every time?
Everything, because guess what? It's not your fault. Here's the difference. God's already forgiven you because this isn't his. Your father, the creator, this is not his. You're already forgiven. It's like being taken hostage. What kind of God, what kind of father would you be if your kid went and got raped and you sat there and shook your finger at them and accused them of causing it?
Absolutely.
What a psychopath dad that is.
That's the God everybody wants, though.
No, but see, they want it because they are it. The They worship the God that they feel that they recognize the most. They want that angry and jealous God. That's why he's there, to deceive you.
Wow.
And Jesus was there to tell you differently. Oh, no, no, no. My Father doesn't desire all of that. He doesn't desire sacrifice.
No, that's crazy shit.
He desires mercy.
Yes. Yes.
The prophet said, God does not delight in the blood of these bulls and rams.
Nope.
Jesus is like, none of those laws God delights in. He delights in these two, which basically is the prophets, all of them, and the law. Mm-hmm. They were like, no, Jesus said he honored the law. He referred to it as, doesn't it say in your law? Okay. It says in your law. Doesn't it say in our law? No. Doesn't it say in my law? No. Doesn't it say in God's law? No. He said, doesn't it say in your law? Mm. Mm. It's amazing how people neglect to hear these things.
I know, but are they able to hear them, or maybe
if they can't, it's not your concern.
Ah. Do you think that this is part of, and I want to use this word, like there's almost like a quarantine that's taking place right now, and they need to be in the ignorance of it in order to experience it for the way they need to experience it individually.
Yeah, you mean experience the whole so they can experience it individually? Yes, they need to understand where they are in the whole. Mm-hmm. And then they begin to understand their individuality of it is what Christ is. Mm. That I am so individual, I'm so unique in this. I can see my equation in this. Doesn't matter whether you do.
Yeah.
But I'm standing with you. I hear what you hear. I see what you see. Yes. We're all moving together. I'm here. I'll reinforce that side over here. Oh, I didn't know I needed that. I did.
Yes.
That's why you're there. I saw that flank was open and needed to be guarded. Mm. You didn't see that. That's my gig.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. Right. So it's difficult that everybody seems to want to feel like, no, I need be a part of your gig.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, if you are, you don't ask me what it is. I can't tell you what to do in my gig. I don't even know my gig.
Absolutely.
Mine is determined minute by minute. Stand there, say that, do that, do a show, don't do a show, stop doing it entirely until I tell you to start again. Like all of it. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm just going to. So somebody says, well, what's your job? Just what I'm doing. Absolutely. This. Well, what's the end game? I don't know yet. He hasn't shown me that. And you know what? If he had, I probably wouldn't like it so much. I mean, I have an idea what it looks like. That's kind of like, Jesus talking about, Father, take this cup from me. Because if they're going to do what I think they're going to do, I don't want to do this if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Take this cup from me, if you will. But nevertheless, Father, not my will, your will.
What about Tonga Tonga? Do you think that was some type of uncorking of... And I don't know why I use that word. I know why I use the word, but an uncorking of the energy to allow things to, you ever seen like water?
Well, I think that was caused, right? So there's enough evidence to say that was caused, but again, that could be caused for the same thing, the uncorking. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's much more to that that's politically motivated and showing, when you've got the elites, so to speak, and you need to keep elites in line, right? It's no different than, you, me, we could all be equals, right? In the scheme of things. But at the same time, hey, that one guy's getting out of order. We got to bring him back in. He's a little too full of himself. He's going in the wrong direction. He's not seeing where we're going. Yeah. Let's send a message. Or let's test something and, hey, let's just wipe out half of this little island here because nobody's really going to give a rat's ass, which clearly the world's already forgotten about it.
Yes, they have.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, would the media and would the world be as passive about things if half of the United States was blown up?
No.
Okay, so this is the whole point. We don't even know how many people have. There's no death toll. You don't have any details about what happened there. All you know is kind of through some TikToks and some things and people and satellite things that you've seen is that, wow, half the island was blown away. It's gone. How many people were on the whole island? Oh, like 175,000. How many people survived? Well, we don't know.
Well, I know. That's fucked up.
Okay.
What about okay, have you seen some of the videos that show the congruency of the waves, though?
Yes. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. The congruencies of the waves and how it looked and all of that stuff, it looks very suspect. It's all weird. Tracy's in the chat. She said, it's one of my favorite phrases now, not my gig.
Not my
Whereas
gig.
I used to say in Southern California when I lived there, I was like, not my yob, because all of them understood that. Like, this, not my yob.
Everybody, please hit the thumbs up if you're in the chat. Everybody show Global Witness some love and make sure you go 100th Monkey, Jake Parsons. Everybody go subscribe to Jake Parsons, the nephew of Jack Parsons, JPL, Jet Propulsion's Laboratory. Sarah C's, go check out Sarah C's. And
Jake's a good dude.
Great guy. I love me some Jake.
Sarah C's. Sarah's got some amazing TikToks, amazing videos. She's on it.
She's an animal. She's an animal. I love Sarah.
She's awesome.
I mean,
and I'm glad I got to meet most of these people.
Me too.
It's been awesome.
It's been an amazing experience. I don't know. You got anything you would like to share with anybody? Any words of inspiration before we cut it off?
I was thinking about reading something.
Oh, sure.
And I don't have glasses, but I've been training my eyes for years to read without glasses, so it's actually worked. But the only difference is I need good light. So I just wanted to read a piece here of Isaiah 54, and kind of in discussion what we were talking about. So it starts off and it says, "Sing, O barren one, who did not bear, break forth into singing and cry aloud, you who have not been in labor." So here's the whole thing. When people look at these scriptures, it's like, I just encourage people to go, and I would encourage to read all of 54, Isaiah 54. And I'm going to go just through a few pieces of this to explain to you why. Because this is talking about a different generation. So just another reset. Mm-hmm. Right, and explaining to people who they are. So think about a barren one. You would think that that's automatically a woman that can't have babies and she's never been in labor, and you automatically link it to women, right?
Yeah.
But I suggest differently. Oh, barren one who has never known God. You have never birthed the son within you. You've never been through the labor pains required to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And so I start reading this today and start thinking of it from that different angle. And then it says, "For you have not been in labor, for the children of the desolate one will be more than the children of her who is in marriage," says the Lord.
Ooh.
Now, and then you go down, and it says, "Fear not, you will not be ashamed, and be not confounded, for you will not be disgraced. You will forget the shame of your youth." This is all the dying to the world behind you, as I said. You'll forget the shame of your youth, and the reproach of your widowhood, you will be remembered no more. So all of these things of you won't be remembered. So
Ooh.
Forget about them. None of them.
Wow.
They will not be remembered. "For a brief moment I deserted you, but with great compassion I will gather you. In overflowing anger for a moment I hid my face from you." So this is where you find the compassion, the merciful Father, right? So in anger, I hid my face from you. It's not something that he did directly. We did that.
Yeah, I know.
We accomplished that.
Yes, we did.
We killed that. I turned my face from you because of anger. Yours, which is mine, because you're me.
Yes. Yes.
"But with the everlasting love, I will have compassion on you," says the Lord, your Redeemer. Your Redeemer. Yours, specifically, right? The one in you, that's yours. Not this one over here, not that one over there, but the one inside you is the Redeemer.
The lover of souls.
And then he says, something repeats, and this is Isaiah, "This is like the days of Noah to me." Think about that. Is that not where we're at right now?
Yes, we are.
This is like the days of Noah to me. I feel like I should be building a ship.
Yeah, you are.
And getting, what's Elon Musk doing? What's Jeff Bezos doing? They're all building arcs. They have no idea what this, right? like the days of Noah, I swore that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth. So I have sworn that I will not be angry with you, and I will not rebuke you, for the mountains may depart, and the hills may be removed, but my steadfast love shall not depart from you, and my covenant of peace shall not be removed. So just as a last thought, that's the kind of, I would read that and read the prophets a little bit differently, because they're really trying to speak to you through the lens of a censorship army that's going to come and kill you and hang you upside down if they find out that you're what you're really talking about, which they ultimately did to all the prophets, right?
Yeah.
And then they honored them after the fact, because guess what? Everything they said was true.
I know. And you know what? I think we're going to see a lot of things like this be taking place, but it's, they don't understand whose plan they're actually following.
Yeah, you know, it's they think they're following God's plan, and that's exactly why Christ could say, "They will kill you, and they will think they are doing the work of God."
Yeah.
But Father, forgive them; they have no idea what they're doing.
Absolutely, and it reminds me of the first book of Pistis Sophia. At the 12th Aeon, Christ allows the archons to a third of them, the angels, to attack him, so he can take their power from them.
And that's what happens. He allows it, right? Go ahead and attack me. You destroy your power. You've seen it happen with YouTube channels, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when you do see what I'm saying is true,
yes,
what you're going to do to yourself, how you will react to that, will determine how you live or die at that point. And that's not just me. That's everybody in general, how you treat one another, which is why Christ was so specific. Look, love thy neighbor as though he's you. Yeah. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love him. And love the Lord thy God with all their heart, like all your heart, mind, and soul. And mind, more importantly, crown. With your mind, always be focused on that. Like it's, you know, you get, I get that song stuck in my head. Well, get that conversation with him stuck in your head.
Amen.
And start doing that all damn day long. All day. Just do that 24/7. Always be asking the question, what do you want from me now?
Yeah.
Show me.
And be in a mode to receive it.
Always.
Absolutely.
Being able to, willing to see and hear what it is. Boy, you know, be in that spot going, I don't necessarily know what the Lord wants from me right now. Because I'll be like, I'm just not in the mood to be nice. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Too bad. And then all of a sudden, I find the genuine aspect of why I was supposed to do something. I'm like, oh, man. See, I was supposed to be nice. And I had to force myself to get there so I could actually feel this person speak to me.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so thankful that I was able to make that happen.
Absolutely.
You know, just always be tending to yourself and stop being judgmental over other people, and stop judging, you know, whether, this person's look, you know, Christ was so frustrated with the disciples there. Who's better, me or him? He's like, how long do I got to bear with you guys? I'm more spiritual than him. I know you better than, you know, I walked 96 steps with you and he only walked 83. I mean, you can imagine the stupidity of it all.
Yeah.
And the patience that he had to continually go through it, trudge up that hill, pick up the cross, and he would say to them, pick up your cross and follow me. And guess what? How many of them were, you know, picking up that cross and going? It took a while, according to the stories anyway. You know, we only have after the fact, but scripturally, none of them did, really. Scripturally, right at the beginning, it didn't really, until other stories. Oh, no, Peter was hung upside down and all of these things. And
yeah, why was he hung upside down, by the way?
Well, there's a lot of different debates on that, but as above, so below. So he served somebody else, the inversion of what it was. You know, these were statements that people made. And who knows actually?
No, nobody.
You know, and this is the whole point when somebody wants to debate me and they're like, you're running from me, debate me. I'm like, dude, the debate is over.
Yeah.
Right. There is no debate to be had about what is true and what isn't about here, because all of it is now within you.
Yep.
And if you don't already know it, you're in deep doo-doo.
You're not going to.
And debating me. What's because somehow I'm going to convince you? No. Or you're going to convince me to change the way I see Christ? What's the point of that? You're never going to change me. All you're hoping to do is to suck off some energy.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I want to debate him so I can suck some energy from him. Maybe get some subscribers. Maybe get an extra $35 per month. I mean, such thin crap.
Yeah.
Or just self-serving ego stuff. If I can make him upset, if I can accuse him of things, and I can, insinuate stuff, or the power of suggestion. Who's the master of suggestion? Like, who's that liar? Yeah, that's the enemy. Sure, I'll have Satan on the show. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's do this.
I love you, bro.
Trust me, if I'm going to do a show with Satan, it's not going to be some YouTuber.
No.
It's actually going to be Satan.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm going to be like, there's a big dude outside. He says he's come for me. And I'm going to turn on the camera, turn this over here. And hopefully, folks, this all works out okay.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, hey, thank you for the super chat. Corey G, amazing show tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, and everybody, support John and support anybody that is continuing to do this. Support in the best way you possibly can. Look, I know that the whole world and the economy is crap. But, we all have a hard time holding these things all together right now. So, yes, support John if you can, or anybody else. You'll see me out there. I'm always trying to get in everybody's super chat. When somebody sends us a donation, I make sure I spread that up between 4 or 5 people.
And that's why you realize that you are abundance and there's no deficit within you. We're exponentially, infinitely expanding, and there is no limitation to any fucking thing we do or have.
Exactly. So you can listen to John. Don't listen to Joel Osteen. Listen to John. John will teach you a lot better than Joel Osteen. I can promise you that.
And so will Derek. Which are both just two aspects of the same person.
Of the same thing. Exactly.
Yes.
But John, I love you. I love, that you come on here. We've talked. I've experienced a whole lot of your life. You've experienced a whole lot of my life over the past almost 4 years now. And I'm thankful for you, brother. I love coming on here. I always say, you ask me, hey, you come on. I was like, done. Of course. Let's always do this.
I knew when we met that one day we would be here. Like, I knew it. Like the inner knowing, whole, and it was my ego that brought me to you.
That's how that works. And I knew that, and I saw that. I said that to you then, right? Yeah. So I never pulled any punches with you ever.
No.
I always told you where things were going to be, and don't worry about it. If you hate me one day, don't worry about it. I won't hate you. I kind of went through the whole thing, and
been a good friend.
Yeah, John, and you have been a good friend as well. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that supports John and has loved him and watched out there, and especially those people that when John was going through something and I was off doing something and I wasn't aware, that people are making me aware. Hey, John needs some help. John really needs your love. John really needs it. I thought that was the most amazing thing, that there were a lot of people out there that were looking out for you, that would always come to me, and so I appreciate that.
And I'm grateful too, because you know what. That's what we have to do for each other. Whenever you do experience hard times, and we all go through shit. It's about loving the other person is what brings the healing to them. And I wouldn't be healed today if people didn't love me when I wouldn't even love myself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's the difference, is when you don't love yourself and you're like, oh wow, I gave them, and they're like, John, you loved me enough when I needed it.
Why are we willing to love others but not ourselves?
That's a bad thing, First, you got to love yourself, but first you got to forgive yourself. The most difficult thing anybody can do is accept the forgiveness that's already been granted.
Absolutely.
That's the problem, because it's already been granted. It's like I said, look, it's the dad that watched his kids get kidnapped and beaten and forced to do things. Him holding you accountable for that. He's like, I forgive you, but the difference is, you're one of me. Your consciousness will bear the weight of all of those sins that you committed. I'm begging you to leave them.
Yeah.
I'm begging you to leave them. Because if you don't, you never get to return.
Absolutely.
Leave them.
Absolutely. It's cat season. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Check out Global Witness. I put the link in the description. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. And you got anything else, bro?
That's it. Just want to say, love you, everybody. Go over to the channel. If you haven't seen the latest show, it's really good. John, I had you on the show before that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have you on another one here coming up pretty soon. I've got some other new people. Guy that I've never even heard of on YouTube. He's got like 950,000 subscribers that I'm talking to. So
wow,
really, really interesting stuff. I don't want to say it just yet, but because I still don't know
exactly. Was it the one you
exactly.
told me about the other day?
No,
Okay,
completely different one.
okay.
Yeah. So, and I'm trying to find who out there that's been hidden in the wings, and so we'll bring them. But watch that last show. There's a lot of stuff talked about. A lot of stuff talked about, and it's just kind of bringing people into some recognition of lots of different variations of things that you can expect. And if you can expect them, then you know how to overcome them. So it's like birth pains. You brace for impact. So that's what we want to help do. Love you much, John.
All right. Love you too, brother. You have a wonderful evening. And everybody at home, please make sure to subscribe. Global Witness, Best Damn Podcast. Show Derek some love, support, and all that good stuff. And thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys next time. Go ahead and kick this off here. Try to get out of here. All right.